why did they put the song on there? And it's not bad, but I'm just kind of like, what compels them to be like, this one, this is gonna close it off, right? Like I don't know.
I like the face that you made there. These squinty eyes and the finger, like a drunk Jewish man. Come here. You're like Billy Van, Larry Says of Frankenstein.
I'm gonna break my rusty cage and run. All right, wow. Sorry everybody. Sorry for that.
What an intro.
Wow.
You're gonna be all right.
Holy smokes. You know, I could maybe at that point I was feeling California and not looking Minnesota. Looking Minnesota? Feeling it? Doesn't matter. What's up, Brent?
A little bit Minnesota.
Oh, it's a little cold looking, I guess. Hey, man.
Wow. How are you?
Great. I get. Apparently. Feel a little over the top, I guess. I'm just having fun. I'm just having fun, really, and took it a little far.
That's why I come here. For the fun aspect of it.
Fun aspect. Good.
To have fun.
And how about you?
Wow.
Yeah. That's called breaking the fourth wall.
Thank you.
You're a showbiz guy.
I'm a showbiz guy.
You know they're breaking the fourth wall.
I'm a song and dance man. Not really.
Jazz hands? No.
Well, yeah, jazz hands for sure.
Jazz hands for sure.
What do you got there? A little banquet?
little banquet tonight.
Good for you.
Yeah. Thought I'd take it not so hardcore, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't have the
beginning of the show.
Yeah. I'd be lying if I said I didn't have a bottle of bourbon close at hand either, but
maybe you hit
we'll see what happens. Yeah.
Let's go with that strobe show.
Little yeah. Yeah, have a little face pollution going on there.
Well, you have a bit of a challenge ahead of you.
Yeah.
Don't you?
Yeah. I don't think that. I mean, we'll see what we'll see what happens.
I know you've got something. I know it.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you walk me through it.
You gonna? Yeah.
I'm going to let you walk me through it.
All right. Yeah. That's fine. Well, we know how I'm doing. How are you doing, Brent? It's Tuesday night.
Not that good.
What?
Not as good as you.
Oh, not as good. Okay. Good.
It's not like a rave over here.
I'm glad you mean like you're not as good as me, but it's not like you not that good. Wasn't your response? It's like just not as good as I am, I guess.
Not that good.
Not this good. Right. Good. Okay.
No, I'm good. Everything is good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Summertime when the living is easy, right?
You know, it's actually interesting. I saw someone post about this album on Facebook and how it was a summer album for them.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, they worked at a pickle, the Bix Pickle Factory in Hamilton, I think is
That's
where
weird.
it was.
Yeah.
Where those guys were. And he hated driving to school. Or driving to school. He hated driving into work, and but what was the song? Searching with My Good Eye Closed. He would blast that on the way in, and he'd be like, "Everything's okay, everything's all right." Yeah, this was a summer album for him. This
How about that?
Badmotorfinger. Yeah,
I don't equate it with the summertime at all. In the same way that you kind of think about summertime and sunshine and parties and stuff like that. Like Van Halen, Diver Down.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
You know what I mean?
Easy.
This is kind
100%.
of more of a wintertime record, maybe.
Okay, maybe, yeah.
A January record. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, you know what? Teach their own, right? I guess depends on whenever it is that you were, you were listening to it, right?
Totally get it. Totally get it. A lot of it, kind of has to do with when you heard it first.
Right.
So it takes you back there.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah, good for that person.
Good.
Do they still work at Bix?
No, he's a co-worker of mine actually, and in the live events industry, audio guy. Yeah, good dude. Good dude all around. Good all around dude. Great guy actually. He and we used to hang out quite a bit. Well, I could not like just at work. He was in shipping, and my office was kind of just outside of shipping, shipping and receiving, and we'd hang out. We'd hang out on break, and great guy. Great guy. Yeah, totally. Be a little ambiguous here. I don't know if I should name drop him, but
never do that.
Okay.
Shouldn't say people's names on the show without their permission.
Uh-oh.
You can't, I mean, there's no rule against it, obviously, but I try not to do that.
Well, you did it last week.
Who did I do it with?
Was it last week or the week before that? Oh, the guy that 2 weeks ago, the guy that would drive down and he picked up the Pearl Jam 10 album. What's his name?
Oh, Chris Dixon.
There you go.
That's right.
You did it again.
I just did it again. Look at me. I'm a hypocrite.
Twice.
I totally forgot about that. Totally. He wouldn't care. See, the thing is, like, I don't think he would. He would actually probably appreciate it.
Well, even this guy that I'm talking about, he wouldn't care either. He likes when I post the event stuff, and I don't know. I'm just kind of being a little secretive here. It feels like I don't know why.
You're very mysterious.
Yeah, totally. I just don't want to have a bad motor finger about it. I got a bad motor finger feeling about it. No, this one was impossible. I had no idea how I was going to do this one. I was trying to like fake a finger injury and say like my finger doesn't move. I've got bad motor finger.
Yeah.
But I couldn't lie. I couldn't lie to you.
I know.
I could come out here and be like, I hurt my finger. I got bad motor finger. And I'd be like, I was lying. I'd feel bad.
Well, I love it. It was a source of entertainment for me. I was wondering how you were going to incorporate this.
I bet, eh? It's been a long week for both of us in two different senses. I had to try and figure it out. You were just waiting to see what was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go.
Well, now it's over.
Now it's over, and disappointment has settled in. And we can move into talking about Badmotorfinger by Soundgarden. I said that I should. I should have said. I said I should have been around for the 70s. I think I said I should have been around for the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
I was around for the 90s. However, I wish I was around for the 90s in a capacity to enjoy grunge music, because I feel like this would have been my jam.
Oh, really?
All these albums, all these guys, like this was a good album. This was a good, really good listen. I enjoyed it a lot.
I thought you would. I thought you would. All the components are there.
They are.
And I was thinking about, the bands that we've looked at previously, and it's kind of like a puzzle, right? So like Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, what they'll bring to the grunge party. And it's a different thing. We talked about that with these previous bands. The thing that Soundgarden brings, I believe, is, in addition to like kind of the lyrical darkness and that sort of thing, the alternate tunings, and also the odd time signatures and meters that they play in. Did you ever notice that?
Oh yeah, because throughout quite a bit of there is a bit of a actually that's why that lighting show is kind of like fitting. It's kind of a haptic feel with their songs. They go all over the place, and I'm almost exhausted by the end of each song, listening to where they go with it, because I was listening to some of the, and I think it might have been Somewhere. I mean, really any song, but I feel like it was Somewhere or maybe Slaves and Bulldozers. again, it could have been anyone, but I really noticed it, and I was like, where? How do they know where to go and what to do next? I know it's their music, I know that, but how did they come up with this? Because they're kind of going all over the place, and you're kind of like, it's not just your regular verse structure of notes and chords, and it was haptic.
Right. Jams and just experimenting and fooling around. So
Right.
a lot of these songs, like I think not Rusty Cage, I can't remember which one it was, but it was Jesus Christ Pose. So that crazy drum riff, right? It's just like super fast.
Yeah.
So I think Ben Shepherd, who was playing the bass, was playing this kind of on purpose weird bit. They're just fooling around. Nobody's paying attention. And then the drummer Matt Cameron starts playing that drum riff that you hear on the record. And then Kim Thahill, the guitar player, takes notice and says, "Well, there's something cool here. Like, how can I get in on this?" Right? He says, "Keep going, keep going." And so he tries to figure out like where one is, because he doesn't know what it's because if you listen to that, the drums are just like it's spastic almost, right?
There you go.
And so he's thinking like, where do I come in? Like, what do I play? And he started playing that kind of like weird kind of Batman thing, doodle-doo, right? And it's almost like while he's playing that, he's trying to figure out what he's going to do. But then he goes into that second riff. And then all three of them kind of look at each other and they're like, okay, I think we got something here, and the guts of the song kind of came together. That's how they did it.
Wow.
In the case of most of these songs is one of them started playing something and everybody, fell in. And you know what? I'm going to say something that just reminded me of something that I was thinking about when I was listening to this record. So, Soundgarden was considered a heavy metal band, right? Up until the grunge movement and Badmotorfinger. And they kind of use the same approach as most metal bands do. But the main difference really, and we were talking about this previously, is that heavy metal uses that kind of aggressive ferocity to attack a target. Maybe it's politics, maybe it's, whatever it is. The same aggression is used by Soundgarden and a lot of the grunge bands, but instead of, externally attacking something, it's almost like they attack themselves. So that kind of aggression is turned inward with Alice in Chains, with Soundgarden. And you can almost feel it when you listen to the music. It's not like triumphant. Like heavy metal, when you listen to Judas Priest, it's like, yeah, there's this kind of like, but this is like the same dynamics are employed, but they're backwards. It's like, I hate myself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's the interesting kind of the idea here.
Yeah. Well, even Thale said in an interview way back in the 90s talking about this album as well. It's like just about the anger, about how there was anger within them, and they were singing about anger, and how it was like, you're told to not to be angry, but because you want to turn it into something positive and not always be angry. But he's like, anger is good too, right? I mean, it's just I'm not going to be able to get them word for word here, but it's just that it wasn't a bad thing. And so to your point, yeah, I think it's just that they were more aware of it, right? And as you said too, right, coming out of the 80s where it was all about, drinking and partying and women and things like that, people are starting to, especially these bands, were singing about what they needed to sing about and what the kids of this day needed to hear. And that was about anger. And you could feel that, especially when I turned it on and put on Rusty Cage. Like, there's just like that, right? It's almost like a Metallica type of like approach to music, right? Or to a song,
Totally.
Which is where I'm sure they get this heavy metal feel. But that was what I felt. I was like, I could just see a crowd of kids just just going crazy headbanging to this song.
Yeah, right down to the we talk about the same dynamics. It's dual guitar, right? Like so many, like Accept did that, Judas Priest did that, Scorpions did that. It's like riff, and the interplay.
Yeah.
Iron Maiden, Same thing.
Yeah.
But different outcome.
Yeah, definitely. And couple that with, Cornell's passion as well as a singer and what he put into the emotion that he put into singing. Insane the kind of release you would have. And also just, I feel like, feeling of this guy gets me as well, or, this guy can say, or, evoke the emotion that I want or I need to release as well.
And that's why this was so popular again. It was it was really the last, people might challenge this, but the last real popular musical movement, in terms of like a groundswell and being able to kind of like recognize it clearly. Yeah. Something new. Yeah.
Cool, man.
Want to go through the tunes?
Yeah. Wait, yeah, absolutely. Rusty Cage. I mean, this was cool. I mean, I don't know. Like I say that, whatever. Well, this was cool. This was good.
It is cool.
This was great. But it is. It's a cool intro.
That.
It's like, it's just, they kind of give you, well, they gave me, again, I didn't listen to any other Soundgarden before this, but this is kind of like that opening dual, like you said, the dual guitar thing. Right. It's just like yeah.
And
yeah.
Then,
and then all of a sudden you're just like, yeah.
And you see, that's what you do. Like there's a physiological reaction. And
yeah.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
Like you can't not react with your finger, with your head, with your foot somehow.
Oh yeah. It's cool.
It's magical.
So this is a great intro to them, like for me. So I'd known Spoon Man, I known Black Hole Sun, but I don't know this side of Soundgarden or this part of this era of them. So when this started up, I was like, okay, cool. This is like great. Didn't see this one coming.
The guitars, they did something weird with the guitars. I think they used Chris Cornell's idea was to use the wah pedal in the low position as like a filter. And it almost sounded like the guitar was backwards if you listen to it. I don't know which side it's on, which channel it is, but his is weird. It's warbly, and it almost sounds like it's like struggling to kind of, like it's being played backwards almost if you listen closely to it.
Sweet. It just sounds good. It sounds really cool. They got some great sounds happening here in this tune.
Unique.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just the way they use his voice and bring his voice in. It's like the production is really good, too. Really cool.
Mm-hmm. His voice is so great.
Yeah, I do love, I'm going to break! These guys... because we used to sing Black Hole Sun, and that was just kind of, or Spoon Man, right? That was kind of just the fun thing to try and sing like Cornell just a little bit. You never can, but
no,
it was fun.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Great voice.
Outshined
is just that classic lyric that you noted at the top of the show. I love it. It's like one of the best lyrics, right? So cool.
Look in California, but feel in Minnesota. I have to be honest. Before I read about this, that line stood out to me like indefinitely. Listening to this song, for some reason, this lyric was like, I was like, huh, wow, that's cool. I got to make sure to talk about that on the show. I got to talk about that with Brent. And then after I listened to the album and I was reading about it, turns out everybody felt the exact same way.
That's what's cool. I remember picking up on that when I first heard the record. I'm like, that's a cool line.
Yes. And so at first I was kind of like, oh man, wow. And then he was like, I was looking in the mirror. I was on tour or whatever, and I was dressed in this, this California look, but I felt, cold on the inside. So I came up with this, and I thought it was a stupid line, but then it turns out like everybody was singing that line along with me, and like a lot of people, and I was like, oh man, like that is a great example of songwriting, even just like those, as short of a line as it is, it just like connects with millions of people.
Totally.
I thought at first I felt like, oh man, I thought I was going to be unique to it, and then I realized that, like, the power of it when you realize how many people are how many people can relate to the analogy.
Oh, it's a perfect analogy, and especially if you're American, but or North American. But it almost has taken on kind of a meme-like cultural quality, right?
Oh yeah,
because it's so big. Like, people use it in like as sports analogies. Like,
right.
There's a Kevin Garnett played for the
Stuart
Timberwolves.
Scott had talked about him. Yeah,
but like, a lot of people use that analogy as, like, look great on
never
the inside,
heard it before.
Feel awful.
Honestly, I'd never heard it before, but that's awesome. Like, it's for real. Yeah,
that's very cool.
Yeah. So that was great.
It's almost like an indicator. When Cornell died, very unfortunately, I always thought that he kind of had his head on straight. You knew Staley was going to go. You knew Scott Weiland was going to go, and Kurt Cobain was Kurt Cobain. But I always thought Cornell and Vedder would kind of hang on, and I had no idea that Cornell had these crazy confident swings. Right, he would just be like super confident, but then he'd have this kind of downturn where he didn't think very much of himself, and very surprised by that. But see, this is a little bit of a clue to that, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is a killer track in showing what they can do. Again, to me, as an introduction to the band, I don't know what their other stuff was, but this song was so many great. I'll do the ups and downs. Like, it's like they have this real, heavy verse and kind of throughout, and then this chorus and bridge is really uplifting feeling, and the backing vocals, and you're like, where did this come from? And then they go to a lot of places in their songs, man. And this is the stuff that I really obviously loved about Aerosmith and Zeppelin and the Stones and Sabbath. I just loved where they took their songs, and these guys do it perfectly as well.
Yeah.
Great 1-2 punch, and then the third track that comes in on this one, Slaves and Bulldozers. Yeah.
This is kind of a sad story behind that. Do you know the story behind this?
No.
So this was the last song that Chris Cornell, the last Soundgarden song that he sang. And this is considered like almost his calling card, right? Because the vocal in this is like outstanding. It's a great performance. And I think that they did this, and then they did, ironically, In My Time of Dying by Led Zeppelin.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then he died like 45 minutes later.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's how he went out. His best vocal performance.
Well, nice, Brent. I don't really know how to progress the conversation after that.
There's a lot of, as we go through these grunge episodes, it's like, there's a lot of dark clouds overhead. Hey, Jesus Christ Pose is a great song.
Well, this song, but Slaves and Bulldozers is man, it's awesome, first of all. But what you kind of realize throughout these songs is how much he kind of repeats his lyrics and really drives home like kind of single lines in the songs, It's just, I feel like that's a real key part, at least of this album, is yes, there are different lyrics, there are different parts of verses, but he kind of comes back always in like each song to really singing like one set of lines.
That's right. Or a singular line over and over again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like sometimes that's all you need. It's just like, hey, this is how I'm feeling. This is what I'm yelling right now, and this is just all I need to get out with this song, and it makes sense.
That's a good point. I didn't really think about that before. He does it in Jesus Christ Pose, but what's the line he does it in this one? Now I know why you were shaking. Is that the line he keeps repeating? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And he lends it an extra power by doing that, right? Especially with his voice, like he kind of goes a little higher, and it's like it just pulls you in.
He keeps giving you more, a little bit more and more, and then he brings it back. But then he goes at it again, right? It's the delivery as well that really drives whatever it is he's trying to say home. But it's cool.
Yeah. It's a good point.
Jesus Christ Pose comes in after that.
Great song, like probably my favorite song on the record.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Just I love that crazy drum riff, and the vocal is so good, right? But I like the message too. So this is another big difference. This is not about booze or cars or girls. This is kind of very cerebral, incisive kind of observations, right? So Jesus Christ Pose is not kind of, a dig at Catholicism or anything like that. Cornell wrote these lyrics because he was frustrated by celebrities who kind of suggested that they were these icons who were being persecuted, right? So they were comparing themselves to Jesus. And Perry Farrell, actually, from Jane's Addiction, was one of the people that he kind of singled out. And Axl Rose was another one, I believe. And he kind of, said, like, you're not special. And it was almost like kind of a commentary, It really didn't have a lot to do with religion, but that's what the song is really about.
Right. They got a lot of hate. Hold on, real quick. He singled out Axl Rose. Weren't they supporting Guns N' Roses?
Well, here's the funny thing about that. I think that they got along most of the time, but there was a point where, and this is very interesting. So think about this in terms of like flow. So Guns N' Roses is 1987, right? Bar band in LA. Gritty band. Fast forward to 1992. Use Your Illusion tour. Biggest band in the world, arguably. They're playing 40,000 seaters, right? They take Soundgarden with them on the road. Soundgarden is now that gritty little band in their jeans and their t-shirts, but Axl Rose walks by Chris Cornell in the hall. He's got his like headband on. He's got his like 10 security guards. He's got his fur coat with his tight white bicycle shorts and his big combat boots. And Cornell looks at him and he goes like, what's wrong? Like what happens? What happens to you when you get this big?
Yeah.
Because 4 years ago, you were me. Like you were this, skinny little guy with the t-shirt and ripped jeans on the stage of the Troubadour, sweating, and belting it out.
Yeah.
And now you're this bloated thing.
Look at you. Well, maybe that's what he really wanted to be, Brent. Maybe he just really wanted to be in fur coats and white shorts, and he couldn't do that before.
It's a very interesting commentary on fame.
Yeah.
And,
Cornell ever get that way? He never went that direction. The bigger they got.
I don't think so. I don't think he did.
No. Yeah.
I don't think they ever got that big, quite that big. But I think he kept his head on pretty straight.
Yeah. Wow.
They broke up, keep in mind, too.
What was that, sorry?
Soundgarden broke up before they really, kind of exploded. Yep.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's in.
Yep.
Jesus Christ Pose it's a cool beat, drum beat, but it gives me anxiety, this guitar. The guitar, the wow 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 wow, and like how often that it happens. I'm listening to it, and then the drums are going, and everything's happening, and I'm kind of just, I'm kind of just, like my heart's starting to like palpitate, and like I can't have trouble breathing. I'm like, there's too much happening in this song. There's so much happening. So that's kind of how I feel about it. It's okay. Like there's a lot to it, but it's just, wow.
It's very
little
frenetic, right? It is. But I don't know. Like, it's funny because I typically don't like songs like that, but I really, really like that one. I just like I get the impression when I hear it that Cornell is like the ringmaster of the circus, you know?
Yeah.
Or like the pastor at a really crazy sermon, and he's just like, you're totally dialed into what he's saying. It's fantastic for me.
Yeah. No, I was all over the place. This one kind of turned me off a little bit. It was a little too much. A little too much.
All good.
Yeah. Oh no, I believe it. Face Pollution was killer. Like this is punk, man. This is punk music.
Yeah, there's a lot of punk inflection in Soundgarden too. I mean, they like bands like Killing Joke and the Melvins and stuff like that, as Nirvana did. So you can hear that.
Great sound, great that they tie these influences in as well, or in whether they're influences or just that they bring it in. It's really cool. It's great. It's great.
See, that's a great point because, like I was saying, they got slagged for being Sabbath kind of wannabes previously, but it's almost like they kind of refine their influences going into this record, and they show them to you, but they don't copy them. So you can hear them, but it's not as readily apparent as it was on previous records. Somewhere is like probably the closest Soundgarden is going to get to a love song, I think, right? If you listen to the words.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like one, but when you hear the words, I think it's about, I think who wrote the lyrics to this? It might have been Shepard or Cameron, but it's about
Shepard.
A guy. Was it Shepard? Trying to be with a girl, but saying that they can't be together, and he's making all these kind of illusions between the sea and the sky and stuff like that. Doesn't sound very romantic, but
this is part of the weird. I think this was the song that I was thinking of where they do stuff with the guitar, where they kind of go all over the place, and Cornell sings with the guitar. The guitar is kind of like here and there and everywhere, and it was. Yeah, this is a good song too. Nothing wrong with this one. It started out weird actually when it does I wish to wish, I dream to dream, and like that kind of whole intro. I was kind of like, oh, what's happening here? But then, like, I love getting into these songs, like because the beginning is so much like it doesn't necessarily mean anything to what the rest like is going to come with the rest of the song.
Right. Yeah.
That was fun.
But it's such a cool experience to like sit and give yourself to these songs, right? And really pay attention to what's in there as opposed to just kind of picking up the melody superficially. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I still do that. But yes, no, I get you. Totally. Like Searching with My Good Eye Closed.
There's like a little Beatles vibe in this one, don't you think?
I don't know.
You're not a Beatles fan.
We haven't gotten to episode 100 yet.
So there you go. We're getting there. Definitely like a little Revolve era psychedelic Beatles vibe here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sick. This is a great song. It's fantastic.
I like it too. Kim Thahill wrote the words to this, I think.
I remember this came on and I was like, it really kind of just caught my attention. I don't know what it was. I just kind of like, I kind of sunk into this song. It kind of has that effect as well, where you just kind of like, I don't know, you just kind of, you know what I mean? It's kind of.
Yeah. How is it?
Well,
how is it? Oh yeah.
Fall into song. Yeah,
right.
You just kind of fall into it.
I like how you come forward like quickly.
Well, I just don't want to miss, the opportunity to get my thoughts out about what I'm thinking about. That's all. Yeah. A room 1,000 years wide. Is that one? Yeah, Room 1,000 Years Wide. Another great one. We're on a great track here with these songs.
Oh, for sure. Who does it remind you of when you first hear the first 10 seconds of it?
I'm not good with this stuff.
Alice in Chains, don't you think?
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay,
like
good. Yeah. Totally. I mean, and I don't mean to draw the parallels, but like I was hearing Zepp, I was hearing Sabbath in this stuff, and I realize I'm not alone in that, but I was getting some of that through here, so I was trying to think. I was wondering if there was some Sabbath you're getting at here, but yeah, definitely Alice in Chains as well.
Yeah, I think indirectly Sabbath, but I just hear you could easily mistake this song for an Alice in Chains song. The first
totally.
12 seconds of it.
Yep.
Yeah. How about Mind Riot?
Awesome.
Yeah, I like it. It's a good tune. Innovative, cool, a little bit different.
Yeah. Again, like the backing vocals is just like, it's reminiscent of late 90s type music, kind of, what people were and probably took from Soundgarden. Like, it kind of reminds me a little bit of like kind of Counting Crows, like that
really?
kind of like vocally.
Wow.
And just some of that, like, I don't know, and that's why I'm wondering. I don't know if they were ever like direct. Well, I mean, I'm sure there's some influence, but I don't know. I just later '90s stuff.
See, I like when we have these kind of considerations. I would have never, when you propose stuff like that, I didn't pick up on that at all.
I mean, yeah, I could be completely wrong. People could be like you're an absolute nut, but I don't know. There's some of the melody, some of the melody, just feel it. I feel it.
I was thinking about that clip that we have on our channel, where you compare David Lee Roth to Steven Tyler. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but this goes way back to like the second or third episode that we've done. And you said to me, hey, I think it's Dirty Movies, Van Halen. And
said, that's right.
Roth does like a little Steven Tyler take, and I said, no, he doesn't. And you're like, no, yeah, listen, got the big deal in the back of a limo. And I was like, oh my god, that's so stupid. So it didn't occur to me at all. And then the end of the clip is me like, wow, Alex, geez, I can't believe. And you're like, wow. And you do this with you're like,
of course, you throw the pinky up, baby. It's like the mic drop for me. Throw the pinky up. Throw the pinky up. Yeah. Again, I could be completely wrong, but it's just for some reason that's where I get triggered to some late 90s music.
It's interesting either way. Yeah. Right? It's exploratory. I like it.
Drawing flies.
Good. I like this. See this, I hear the Sabbath in this.
Yeah,
so
100%.
Kind of galloping, like rollicking, do you know what I mean? Like it's
this is what's the kickoff track for Sabotage?
Hole in the Sky.
Hole in the Sky. This is Hole in the Sky.
What else? There's something on, I think it's called The Straightener, on like Black Sabbath Volume 4, where there's like a like it just kind of a galloping. It's
okay.
It's the same. Yeah. Definitely, like, reminded me of it right away.
But then is that really just going back to what song am I thinking of? It's a Stevie Wonder track. What's the Stevie Wonder track?
Not Superstition.
Higher Ground. Higher Ground, right? It's a little bit of that too. It feels a little bit. A little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I can hear that.
Yeah, whatever. Fine.
Yep.
Now we're stretching. Another
here's some John Denver in there. A little bit of Rocky Mountain High.
Is it Sinatra or no? I don't yeah. Oh frig. Yeah, killer tune. It's a good one. Holy Water.
Holy Water is what is this? It's like a about forcing your beliefs on other stuff like that. But they have another song called Wooden Jesus that was on the single soundtrack, I think. And it's the same thing. Just kind of,
soundtracks galore for these bands, hey? Soundtracks galore. Even what was there's a couple songs on here that were on, or at least one of them for sure. I can't. Rusty Cage, I think, was on Road Rash. Did you ever play Road Rash, the video game, Brent, for PlayStation 1?
No.
Or N64, Road Rash? No?
I suspect that you did.
Not really, no. Maybe like once or twice. It was like you would drive motorcycles and you would have chains and you'd have to like knock people off of like
I've seen
the motorcycle,
that,
you know? Yeah. It's classic. It's classic.
Road Rash.
Road Rash. Again, I nothing, like, just cool to listen to. I had no problems with it. No, none.
How would you? So the Holy Water, and then what's the last song? New Damage, is it?
New Damage.
What do you think of the sequencing? We haven't talked about that for a long time. And I'll tell you why. So for me, and this could be just a construct that I make up in my head, when I think about this record, I think about Rusty Cage, Outshined, Slaves and Bulldozers, and of course Jesus Christ Pose, which happen to be the first 4 songs on the record, right? Like, what a start. Because I pay so much attention to those songs, I don't pay as much attention to Holy Water, Mind Riot, New Damage. I don't see them in the same light.
I think it has the same effect. I think because technically, if you were going to flip over the vinyl, you flip over the vinyl and Searching with My Good Eye Closed kicks off side B. And I think that Rusty Cage through to Jesus Christ Pose, well, I like Face Pollution. I mean, I like Somewhere. Anyways, I think that the first 4 songs of side B are also incredibly or equally as good as the first 4 songs of side A. First 4, Rusty Cage to Jesus Christ Pose, side B, Searching with My Good Eye Closed to Drawing Flies. Holy Water and New Damage, they're okay. They don't take away, although part of me, when I was listening to New Damage, was like, again, I came back to why did they put the song on there? And it's not bad, but I'm just kind of like, what compels them to be like, this one, this is gonna close it off, right? Like I don't know.
I like the face that you made there. These squinty eyes and the finger, like a drunk Jewish man. Come here.
Yeah, right. You see, you get it, right? Yeah. I just didn't get it. Yeah, this is gonna do it. I didn't get it.
And what is it? Are there 13 songs on this record? So
nope, there's 12.
Oh, there's 12. So yeah, I agree. I don't. As you get towards, and that's why I asked the question. As you get towards the end of the record, it's almost like it's. I don't want to say needless, but it doesn't hold my attention nearly as much as the first half of the record does. And maybe that's on purpose, right? We talked about marketability and how tune stacking is very important. Sequencing, you put the best records or the best songs up front to get the attention first, all that stuff.
I'm always curious about songs like this. When they write them and they perform them, they go, "That's going on the next album," or I'm curious about it. Yeah, because it's like there's some pretty like kind of sloppy guitar playing on this song, kind of near the end there. It's kind of like you're kind of like, okay, why? But again, like I don't hate it. I'm more so just like I don't why? That's all.
Yeah, I'm the same. It's just neutral. It's just kind of. It's just there for me. And
I'd love if people would chime in watching if you know why. If was there something in the context of the lyrics that they wanted to make sure they put on this album? Here, I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know, it's like a political commentary too, isn't it? Like right-wing conservatives or something.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
Maybe that's what it is. Just make sure we got to get our, last word in there.
So, what's the verdict, senor?
I could give it like a 4.5. 4.5 out of 5. I really liked it. I know people are really like, oh, I guessed 5 or, or something, but no. Nope, it's 4.5. Jesus Christ pose. I feel like I'm going to have an anxiety attack, or maybe I do and I just don't realize it. And yeah, I'm just confused by New Damage, so we'll give it a 4.5.
Anxiety attack, eh?
I mean, something like that. Pretty close.
That's funny, because that's my favorite song in this record. It's probably my favorite Soundgarden song, actually.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I like that. I like the contrast. I like that, I said that and you didn't say, me too.
Yeah. I know. We've done that a couple times, but not lately.
Well, that's going to happen, but it's cool when it doesn't happen too.
Yeah. I feel like I like the second half of the album. Oh, man, I don't know. Like, I feel like... No, there's some really good songs on here. They do a really great job. And you mentioned Alice in Chains having like the best melodies of the grunge bands. I might have to say Soundgarden for me. I really like the melodies of Alice in Chains on Dirt. I haven't listened to anything else just yet by them. But I don't know. I think I like the melodies where some of these songs went over the ones that I heard on Dirt.
Wow. Listen to Jar of Flies.
Okay.
And let me know if you change your mind.
Yes, sir.
The melodies on that record are divine.
Not so sure about that. But
Come here, you.
Gonna have to check that out. Killer, man. Killer. All right, where are we moving here? We staying on the grunge tip, or we are. What's happening?
We're gonna do one more. We're gonna do the Stone Temple Pilots core, and this will be cool because now we've gone through 4 of these. We're going to see a 5th, and we can kind of juxtapose them all on top of each other and against each other. Right.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
How do you feel about grunge so far? I know you like it, but
I like it.
Yeah. You really like it.
Yeah. No, I'm into it. It's it's different, it's weird to say that because it is, and I don't know, it just feels different. So it's kind of it's cool to explore. I know that we drew parallels and influences of Sabbath and Zeppelin in through here, and whatever. I don't know. There's just something different about it. There's a different feeling. There's a different vibe, and I'm into it.
Are you interested at all in kind of like getting up above it and looking down on how everything changed from the Talking Heads through Billy Idol, through Motley Crue, through David Lee Roth into grunge? That whole, road that we went down.
I have enjoyed. You know what I thought, man, when I was listening to this album? It's like, and I think I said this before, but I fucking love music. I just love music, man. To go through what we've gone through and like whether I've liked it or not, it's been so good to just listen to these albums, and that's to say that I see a fully fledged, like, I'm just maybe not that intellectual to get that, but it just is like, it feels good. It feels good to go through this and to put these albums, in my noggin, man. Like, just to hold on to them, know what they are, and explore, like if you say, like the whole deep cuts of bands. That's been the best part. The deep cuts.
Yeah. That's where the real gold is for me.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes you'll know bands by their popular songs, but when you get the record and dig into it, every band I can name, I think, has, a song where it's like that deep cut is so good.
Yep.
All the bands that we've looked at.
Yep.
And that's a lot.
It is. So I don't know if I really answered your question about the current stretch we went on, but just in general, it's just been great to go through and go on this little path.
I just find that when you, like I said, when you kind of get up on top of it and look down and look at how the albums kind of flowed, right, and how the scenes flowed and the movements flowed and everything, the albums kind of make more sense when you view them against each other. Do you know what I mean? And you kind of have a maybe a deeper appreciation, a deeper understanding of the whole thing, as opposed
We started
to
to
just,
get that. You started to get that. I think for sure. I think that if we'd started with grunge, it might have been weird, right? But I think that through this, it's like, okay, right? I'm seeing things, I'm hearing things, picking things up.
Yeah. It just adds context.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, good, young man.
Wow.
I'm totally using that. I'm going to do that tomorrow to people.
I'm going to put this song on the album. This is the song. This is what we're going to put on here. This is going to close it off. This is going to how we end the episode.